Hello and welcome to this short series videos on Matplotlib. This will be the first video in this series. Now, Matplotlib is an essential library in Python, and we use this library for data visualization. And there is too many methods which we can actually visualize methods in. Today in this video, I am actually going to introduce to you just two simple ways of using plot function to create a plot to visualize the data which we introduce in this case. Now, to actually be able to bring this matplot library into your Jupyter notebook, you will need to use the keyword import and then the name of the library, matplotlib, and you bring it as something and it's as PLT. Now, this can be as just import matplotlib as PLT, or if I am going to use the keyword plot, then I go and import the sub-library pyplot, and because pyplot contains the actual function plot within it, therefore you can bring it this way, or you can bring it the second way where you can actually call pyplot as PLT in this case. So this, if I run the second cell, which is here, and you can see I have added a second statement in which I want, if once we import our matplotlib, I want to know which version it is. Now, if matplotlib is not installed in your Anaconda environment, then it will come back and say that matplotlib is not defined. And if it says matplotlib is not defined, then you know, and that's a type of error, then you will know that matplotlib is not being installed in your environment and you need to install it. Now let me run this and then I will talk about the installation. So as you can see, it actually didn't give me an error. It ran fine, and then it gave me the version which I have, which is 3.82. Now, in your case, you might have different versions, could be 3.6, 3.7, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. Now, if, for example, you couldn't run this code because there is an error in your message error came to you when you tried to run it, that means you don't have matplotlib installed, then you will need to go to the installation of matplotlib. And in this case, I am using the installation manager, which is called pip, to install matplotlib into Anaconda environment. And to do that, you will type in your command line pip install matplotlib, or in the case when you are using it in Jupyter Notebook, because you can also install it through Jupyter Notebook, and all you have to add, you start with an exclamation mark, and then you type the command there. And if I run this command, you will see that it will say that default is actually requirement is satisfied, which means that I already have it installed and it didn't do anything. Now, you can also go and do that on your command line by opening the Anaconda prompt, and you can say pip install matplotlib. And if you hit return here, it should start the process of installation if it's not installed. And if it's already installed, it will tell you that requirement is already satisfied. In this case, it says requirement is already satisfied. Therefore, we don't need to do anything. Okay, so we go back to our a Jupyter Notebook, and let me just comment this because I'm not going to use that, and then just run this and then comment this also. And as you can see, what I have done, I'm going to import as PLT because I'm going to use plot. And Once I have imported everything, I can now get to use plot. So what I did, I called the function plot using PLT, where I am actually calling Matplotlib function, because we said import it as PLT, and then from there I am calling the function plot. And what I did, I passed to this two variables x and y, and then I added a marker, which is a round circle, as you can see there, which is going to be the defining point in which my coordinates are. And then I also introduce a line style. In this case, I actually put dashed line. And then I want to define the color of my line, because in most cases we are plotting a number of lines which represent different types of data. Therefore, I need, or even the same data, but for different models or different data sets, then we need to distinguish between them. Therefore, if I have two or three lines, I can define different colors to each of the lines. And then I actually added a label for the line, and I said it's my line. And when you have different lines, then you can actually plot all these lines. You can create as many, you can call it as many times, and then you can put it on the same plot by saying plt.show, and it will plot them all for you on the same plot. Now, to actually add a legend, then I actually went and called this method legend, and in this case, it will add a legend for me in the plot. So I can see if I have more than one line, then I can see what are the line colors and so on. Then I can actually compare the performance, if it's a performance comparison or whatever. The last thing is actually showing the plot. So I went and called this function show, and it will go and show the plot for us in once it's finished executing. Now let me execute this. As you can see, it actually went and executed, and I can see my plot in here. That's one way of doing it. Another way is actually to define, rather than give everything to the plot function as we did there, the labels and the actual title and everything, then I can actually define them outside, because sometimes I am actually plotting more than one line, and I don't want to define all these lines inside there, because I want to actually define one X label and one Y label for all of them, for all of the lines. Therefore, I can have a number of these plots, and they are all going to be within the X and Y label. Now, in this case, I only pass to the function plot the coordinate x and y. And of course, as you can see here, you know what these are. They are lists of coordinates, because you already seen how we create a list in previous videos. Now, I also added a title in this cell by actually calling this title method, and I passed to it a title which I wanted to be printed on top of this plot which we have here, and I called it simple line plot. And of course, the last thing I called show, so it can actually show me the information which is plotted. If I run this, it should actually execute the instruction that I have put in this cell. So as you can see, it runs. It's a nice way. I didn't define the line in here, and since I didn't define the line, you can see that it actually took it as a solid line. I can define a line, and then it will actually, for that particular plot with the x and y, I can define a line, and I can change the line here as I want. So if I bring this from here, line style is there. If I just copy that and bring it here, and I pass this here as a line style, and then if I run this again, it should actually tell me the line style has changed. As you can see, if I want to put color, whatever, I can actually add the colors here, and it will be uh, given in different ways. If you see here, I put x-axis and I called it label, x-axis, y-axis. Now I can change this and say this is temperature and this is time, or any other label that I wanted there, and I can run it, and it should be a nice way plottedly, as you can see here. So this is all I wanted to introduce in this video. I thank you, and I will see you in the next video where we can introduce more complicated things that we can do with